All right, this is Zwan Zeus, and I'm just here to talk about a few things today. So, I think what we're gonna start off with is basically the whole AI race things going on in the world today, um, cost of things in our society. I think what has really struck me has been the cost of what groceries, basic necessities cost. This has been a problem for a long while, but even with a lot of help, from family, it's been really difficult for me and my family to make it in this economy. And I feel like no matter what I'm bringing in, it doesn't seem like it's enough. Um, and it is a little bit that hey maybe the more you bring in, the more money you end up spending, kind of thing, in there as well. So it's kind of like hey, maybe we should live within our means, but then you know the wife and I, we look at our expenses and we go, well, we're buying essentials. We're not buying, you know, big screen TVs. We're not doing anything crazy. But this year we do have a financial plan on getting ourselves straight after income taxes. But I think what I want to really talk about too is just, how, artificial intelligence is really getting like ingrained in our society today, and where it's going. It's advancing at a rate that's alarming. We don't know where we're going, you know, as far as like, advancements and like what's going to be next, what's going to be around the corner for us. It's made me deeply realize that the world that I grew up in, because I'm an 80s baby. I was born in the 80s. Um, I grew up as a kid in the 90s. So what I got to see was a lot of slow progression. VHS. You had when I would say probably 6 7 years old. I never watched movies really. I spent more time outside. I absolutely loved the outdoors. Climb trees. I play with rocks. I you know we lived on a farm, and so I would play with the bags of feed, pretending like they were people, and I'd beat them up. You know, you know, using your imagination. That's what it was really about back then. And we would, kids would use their imagination and play with absolutely anything they could find. And with how far out I lived out in the country, TV was the last thing on my mind. It wasn't even on my mind. We had a TV, but never watched it. Didn't really start doing that until I was, you know, maybe 8 9 years old. We had a bigger TV, bigger. It was like a boob tube, whatever was big back then. It wasn't that big, but they considered it big back then. But and even then, the parents got to choose what was on the TV. I didn't get to pick out what was on the TV. I didn't get to watch what I wanted to watch. It was about what the parents wanted to watch. Because how I was raised, it's the kids keep to themselves, they keep quiet. You know, don't really speak out. I didn't really speak out at all. I just mind my own business. It was a much slower time. Things progressed a lot slower. It seemed like time was slower in that period. It just things weren't as fast paced. Is where I'm going here. As they are in today's society. In today's society, it's like we're going a mile million miles per minute. Between the way people drive, slinging through those Facebook feeds, getting used to the algorithm. It's like, how did we get here? How did we get to this point? You know, how did this happen? And I have to ask myself this all the time. Like, how did we get to this point in society where we need to have a smartphone? I didn't have my first phone until I was like 17 in high school. Sprint flip phone, in like 2003. And then from there, forget about it. It was a slow, progress up. Had the iPhone that then came out after that, and then it seemed like after the iPhone came out, things just went insane. And here we are, right? But no, I just wanted to make this quick 7-8 minute long video, just to kind of like introduce myself. I do want to make more content. I don't have a lot of time because I have 2 kids and they require a lot of my attention, and I work, full-time job. So, and right now I'm a supervisor, but I'm gonna move down to probably like just a different role that has an easier schedule for me. I want to move down to like a vendor position, which really isn't a step down because I'm going. Yeah, it's a step down in pay. I'm losing quite a bit of pay, but it's going from a small box store, and I'm going to a Magnolia level store. In case you didn't know, yeah, I work at Best Buy as a supervisor. But yeah, I'm moving to a big box store that could have more opportunity for me. So I'm trying to break out of the shell of a really tiny Best Buy store and get myself over to a more premium store with more opportunities for myself and possibly my family. But we are taking a pay cut. But we're gonna try to work around that, see what we can do. Because there was a time where we were doing a lot better just a year ago on less. So I don't know. It's just we're gonna have money coming in. We're gonna have money coming in. So regardless, things are gonna get taken care of. We just gotta stay focused. But no, but yeah, I'm gonna try to make sure that even if I only have 1 or 2 views on this video, hey, that's fine. As long as my message is getting out there. But yeah, just wanted to do that quick introduction. So this is Zeus out.